Hi there, it's Luvotek back in the scene. It's been quite some time since I uploaded my last video. Well, I'm back today to show you all a quick tutorial on how to make a simplistic banner on YouTube, like the one you see right here. So this took about 5 minutes for me to make, probably like 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm just going to take some more time to basically show you all what exactly the thought process that went into making this particular banner and how I basically set up an environment on Photoshop to start off with the banner. So let's get started. So first of all, I basically went ahead and made a new file on Photoshop. So for that, I will be selecting this particular file with this resolution. So it's 2560 into 1440. So I usually put the resolution at 300 and the color to 8-bit. So if you could copy these settings, yep, that will be fine. I'm going to go ahead and press the create button. So before we start making our banner, I think one of the most important things that we'll have to bring into the environment would be our YouTube template. So this particular YouTube template basically determines which parts of your banner is going to be displayed. So it isn't that tough. You could basically search up YouTube banner template on Google and basically pull up this template. But for your reference, I'll be putting it down in the link in the description. So now that we have the template here, what I'm going to do is on Photoshop, you should press Control R. That's going to pull up the ruler that's right here. So I'm just going to drag from this ruler area down to this particular place, wherever there are markings, wherever there's boundaries for the image. So I'm going to set rulers there just so it's going to make it easier for me when I start designing. So I'm just going to set it there. It doesn't have to be exact, just rough markings is more than enough. So we have that there. So you can see that this main middle area that's highlighted the most dark gray would be the main area that will be seen on every single device. And as we go further, wider and wider it gets, you could see the spectrum of where the image is being displayed. So the middle area would be the minimum for a mobile and desktop. And then the further it goes, it's the tablet. And then the further horizontally it goes would be for desktop. And the entire image would basically be for television. So we're going to be basically focusing on this particular horizontal strip because people don't usually pull up your banners on the TV version of YouTube, so that should be the least of our concerns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and first mark off these areas so it's easier for us to work on. So to mark off those areas, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the rectangle tool. I'll set the color to black and I'll start drawing rectangles just to cover up that place so we won't have to use it. Alright, so you can see we have two layers above the YouTube template layer. So we're going to be working in between the YouTube template layer as well as these two rectangle layers. Alright, so I'm just going to create a layer here. And I'll start off by probably making a gradient like I had done here. So here's a closer look. Going back to my file, what I'll do is basically first fill in so this layer is basically an empty space right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in that place. So I'll probably pull up the brush tool, alright, blue. We're just going to color up that space. Yeah. Alright, colored up the entire space. We should be good to go now. Hold on a minute. Yep. So you can see the entire place is filled. What we're going to do next is we're going to apply a gradient here. So I'm going to double click on the layer where I've applied the blue fill. I'm going to go to gradient overlay and I'm going to basically mess around the gradient tool to get a nice looking gradient. So here I have already applied a gradient. So to apply a gradient, you basically go ahead, click here, and you could mess around with the colors. So you could see it starts changing when I start changing these colors. There we go. So I'm just going to leave it the way it was previously. Yeah. And if you'd like to change the direction of where the gradient is coming from, you could either hit reverse to basically flip the places the gradient is coming from, or you could use the angle tool to basically angle how your gradient is being spread out. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to set it back to, hold on, 0. Yeah. And scale is something that I usually mess around with. It just determines how much your color, both of your colors blend in. So I usually, it's set by default, it's set on 100, but I usually like it to go up to 150 to just give that more gradual change rather than sudden like here. So I'll be setting it to 150. Well, you could set it to whichever you like, whatever looks nice to you. Once that is done, what I'm going to be doing is I will be making another rectangle. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a rectangle here. So this is where my name is going to go in, my channel name. So I'm going to press Control A basically, in order to center it. So let me just show it to you once again. So I've selected the rectangle layer. I'm going to click on Control A. I'm going to go here and center it horizontally. I'm going to go here, center it vertically, and that should do it. So now we're done with creating our rectangle, which is where our text will go. So I'm just going to start designing the rectangle now. So what I'll do is I'll apply a reverse gradient here. So same gradient, exact same gradient, I'm just going to apply a reverse, just so it creates like, it reverses the bound, it creates a contrast with the background basically. So if you wish, you could change the color of this. So as you can see, I already have gradient presets here. I'm just going to click on this orange one. Doesn't look that good. Let's mess around. Yeah, this looks decent. What about this? I'm just trying to create as much as contrast as I could. I think this looks pretty fine. Or if you want to change, you could also go and probably try a totally different color. Yep, this looks pretty nice. Yeah, I'll probably go with this one this time. So that should be fine. Which one looks better? I can't choose. I'll probably go with this one. So once I'm done with that, what I'll be doing is I'm gonna make some more rectangles. So I'm just gonna name this as name rectangle. I'm just gonna name this one as background. So once you're done naming these layers, what I'm gonna do is I want to add extra effects like how I'd added in this banner. So to achieve this effect, what I basically did was created another layer, went to my rectangle tool right here, and I created more rectangles. So one rectangle here, one rectangle here, one rectangle here. Just keep on decorating the entire place with rectangles. So this should be pretty okay now. Yeah. So once we're done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and group these rectangles. So what I do is I press this layer, go down, press shift, and then click on the rectangle 3 layer. Then I press Control G to group all of these layers, and then I go ahead and basically give them another color. So what color would I like to give it this time? Probably go with maybe orange. I've been caught lacking in the color department today. Don't really mind that. Alright, so as you can see, when we apply the gradient in the grouped layer, you could see that it moves across one end to another end. Now I don't want that. I don't want the gradient to be grouped across all the layers. I want each box to have its own separate gradient finish. So what I'll be doing is I'll actually be going behind. I'll be going back, and I will be applying the gradient individually on each of these. So go ahead and I'll choose, right, yeah, this should be fine. I'll right click here and then copy layer style. I'll go ahead, select all of these layers and paste all of those layers. So you can see each one of them have their own individual gradient layer styles. So now what I'm going to do is, since I've already grouped all of them, I'm going to press on Control J so to copy the two folders. So the reason why I usually do is, in case I mess up the original folder, in case I mess up the copy folder, I always have the original folder to return back to in order to start back from scratch. So I'll be hiding the original one for now. So we're going to be using the duplicate one. I'm going to press on Control E to basically convert all of these layers into one single layer. And what I'll be doing now is I'll be going to filter, I'll be going to blur and motion blur. And this is basically a bit of trial and error basically. So you're going to mess around with these parameters to determine which looks the best. So I'll probably go with somewhere around, yeah, I think this looks pretty nice. So around 250 plus, that should be fine. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate these layers. So what I'll be doing is pressing Control J on this again. So Control J, and I'll be pressing Control T, and then I'll move them around. So that looks nice. And I'll press Control J once again to duplicate one more time. And I'll probably place it, let's see. I think this is more than enough. I think 2 layers should be fine here. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition this a bit. Yep. And yep, that should do it. So there we are. And another thing that I'd suggest you do is also mess around with the blending option of your particular layer. So I'm going to group these two layers first, and then I'm going to duplicate them. Hold on a minute. Yep, duplicate them. I'm going to hide the original layer once again. Control E to group them once again. And then what I'll be doing is going through the blending options to see what works the best. So it's basically a game of trial and error, and I think luminosity looks a bit good. It gives that abstract kind of effect. So let me try it. Yep. Well, this not might be as good as the original one. I really like the original one, but we're still getting there. So that looks nice. What I'll be doing now is I'm basically done with the background. So I'll introduce the text into the rectangle now. So I'm going to go ahead, and so I have a font here already. Whoops. So I have a font here. We're gonna type. Yep, that's tiny, I know. I'm gonna go ahead here and make it bigger. Yep, Luvotek. Not really a fan of that text, so I'm going to go and probably change it up a bit. I like this one better. Hold on. Yep, I like the bold version of this font better, so I'll probably go ahead and make that smaller. Yep, not too small. Yeah, this should be fine. And I'm going to center align this according to the entire banner. So I'll be Control A, horizontal, vertical centering, and then I'll be going ahead and changing the color of this text by going to layer style. Yellow looks nice, but I think I'll probably go with white this time. So I've made the text white now, and then I'll be going to inner shadow to give it a bit of depth. I'm going to go ahead and put that to gray, probably. I don't know, slight. Yep, that should be fine. So you could see that the text has got a little bit of depth in it. So if I could zoom in and show you, you can see that there's some depth in the text. I'm going to go back, and in a shadow, we're going to reduce the distance. And yeah, I think that looks perfectly fine for me. So here we are. So we've got a good looking banner going on here. What I'll be doing is I'm going to go on add extra touches to this banner. So what I'll be doing is, so we have a background here. I'm going to pull this layer down here just to make it easier for us to see. Alright, so these two are basically the main background. So I'm going to go ahead, click on the layer button, make another layer here. I'm going to go to brushes, and I'll be going and applying a slight orange color fade to the entire banner. So I'll go ahead, click here, go ahead, click here. Yep, so you could see a little bit of lighting going on there. I'll be messing around with blending options once again to determine which looks the best. And I personally think, oh, this looks nice. Divide looks nice. I like linear dodge as well. So what I'll be doing is I'll probably duplicate this. Yep, you could see more effects coming out. It's popping out right now. I'm going to duplicate the layer once more. I'll flip the layer this time. So it's a horizontal flip if I'm not wrong. And I'll try applying the divide. Yeah, this looks nice. Yeah, that looks really nice. So I'll try duplicating the layer once more to see if it... Oh, no, that looks too much. So I think this looks pretty nice now. Yeah, that looks too much. Yeah, this looks pretty nice. So I like the look of the banner right now. It looks pretty simplistic, looks pretty neat, pretty linear. And I think we could do with that. And one more thing, you usually the default fonts that you get on your PC won't usually do much justice to any graphic designing work that you're going to be doing. So I definitely suggest searching up this website called dafont.com. So I'll take you to that website right now. So this website is basically where I find all of my fonts from for absolutely free. So you could go ahead and search for fonts. There's different sorts of categories here. So according to the type of font look that you're looking for, you could go ahead and search them up. So yeah, so once you're done, I'll show you how to download a font and basically use it. So let's say I like this font, or hold on, yep, I'll go ahead with this font, and I'm gonna go ahead and open this zip file. So we usually so you've got like a bunch of file formats going on here, but what I usually install is, so we have the basic font here, which is Vampire Wars. And apart from that, we have italic and yeah, italic OTF and italic TTF. I'm not 100% sure, but I usually install either one of them, either OTF or TTF. So for this case, I'm going to go install OTF. Double click on that and you press on install. And once that is done, you should be able to search that up. So yeah, let's search that up right now. So if I want to change this font, hold on. Yep, so vampire. Yep, there you go. So you can see that font has been installed into your font library. So it is as simple as that. Now that's about it. If you have any questions, any issues going on, feel free to drop down comments in the comment section. I'll be glad to help you guys. Alright, so if you like the video, hit the like button and let me know what you'd like to see next. So that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching the video. See ya.